Week 13 of ranking every team in the NFL tier list style. Guys, welcome on in. How's it going? This league is absolutely chaotic. Everything feels upside down. There's only a little bit of chaos this past week, but a lot of close calls, and it's a real headache trying to rank all these teams. I'm going to do my best. You can check out the tiers on the screen. We're going to go ahead and dive right in with the bottom one here, Titans and Raiders and Jets. Oh my. Just going to lump these teams together. I think it's kind of clear these are the worst three teams in the league at the moment. I would expect that to remain the case as the season plays out. For the Titans, though, at least you can say that Cam Ward looked good against Seattle. The box score might not tell the full story, but you can kind of watch through the game and see some of the plays he made. And look, that's a very good Seattle defense, and the game was pretty ugly overall. The final score is definitely, it's very deceitful. It was not as close as it looked, but Cam Ward had a decent day, so it's a glimmer of hope for the future. I'm personally not a Cam Ward guy, so I don't think it's going to pan out, but you got to look at that game if you're a Titans fan and be pretty happy with his performance and just hope that he can ride high and go into next season and do well. For the Raiders and Jets, I mean, there's not really anything to talk about this season. It's a lost season easily, and you just have to hope that next season will be better, or for the Jets, the next few seasons. It's going to be a long rebuild over there, so yikes. I think these are clearly the worst three teams in the league. We'll move up to the next category, and these teams are just, their season's over. Rest in peace. New York Giants. Sorry, guys. You guys are a lot of fun. You almost beat the Lions. Probably the most entertaining 2-10 team of all time. I loved watching that game against Detroit, or parts of that game at least. I couldn't watch the whole thing. But it was a fun game, and they almost got the job done. They were so close. They probably should have won. They just blew it. So kind of a common theme for the Giants. They've had a lot of double-digit leads that they've just blown. So yeah, I still think this is a team with a very bright future. They get healthy next year with Scatabo and Dart and Neighbors, and this is going to be a lot of fun to watch next year, but yeah, sorry, New York fans, it's rough right now. The Saints come in just above the Giants only because of the head-to-head result, so I think it's pretty fair to keep the Saints above the Giants, and, I mean, the Saints, they're a lost cause as well. I still don't think Tyler Shuck is going to be the guy. I think he has to play better to give himself a real chance there. I mean, I think he's like 26 years old as a rookie quarterback. I might be mistaken, but he's old for a rookie. I don't see that working out, but as a Panthers fan, I wouldn't mind if they just kept him around and hoped for the best. We're going to put the Browns here. I know Shedeur Sanders had a pretty good debut for a rookie, especially one taken in the 5th round. I maintain my stance. I think he's a second-round talent, so yeah, I'll say that. He should have been starting over Dylan Gabriel already. It's nice that they finally gave him the job. He's going to be starting again, which is the right call. I say start him the rest of the year. See what he's got. He had a couple of nice plays against the Raiders. Also had a couple of not-so-nice plays. For all the box score viewers, by the way, that 66-yard touchdown pass was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and it was just a run by Dylan Sampson, basically. So, credit where it's due. Shedeur had a decent enough day. Hopefully he can keep it going. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be a nice story for him and for Cleveland. But as it pertains to this season, you could win out and still miss the playoffs. So Myles Garrett, though, he's probably going to break the single-season sack record, so that's awesome. It could happen as soon as this week. Knowing him, he could get 5 sacks. It wouldn't surprise me. Probably won't, but he's going to break that record, most likely. So, look, you got some good pieces in Cleveland. You could have a bright future. You got to figure out the quarterback situation, and the O-line is not ideal, so you got to figure some stuff out, but you could have a bright future if you play it correctly. Washington, I'm maintaining my stance. Don't let Jaden come back this year. Just season's over. Another team that could win out, and you're still missing the playoffs easily in the NFC, in my opinion. I don't see any reason for him to return. Sort of like Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, except Burrow just really wants to play, and technically they could win their division. I don't see it. Washington, though, this is your young quarterback. Injuries, issues so far that you just shouldn't throw him back out there unless he just really, really wants to play. But even then, let him rest, let him recover, and hope the next year's better. Arizona, rest in peace. Your season's over for sure. It's rough. You're definitely in a tough spot, too, because you got to figure out what to do at quarterback in the offseason. You're not running it back with Kyler. Jacoby Brissett is a good bridge quarterback, but he's not the guy, of course. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're drafting somebody. You're going to be picking in the top 10, most likely, so maybe you're looking to the draft. I don't know. Maybe you make a splash trade for a quarterback. Who are you going to get? Yeah, definitely a lost cause this year, though. The Bengals come in just above them. They're getting Joe Burrow back. I don't know if that's going to make a difference on their season, but they're getting Joe back, so maybe the offense is going to be good. Jamar Chase will return from his 1-game suspension for, spitting on a human being. The offense is probably going to be clicking, but the defense, I will say the defense has been playing fairly decent for the past few weeks. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they're turning a corner. Probably not. I don't know, but credit where it's due. The defense is playing all right recently, so maybe they win a few games, but the season this year, it's not going anywhere. Minnesota, I'm going to put in technically still alive, because technically they could win out and make the playoffs, and given all the division games they have, they could technically win the division. There's no way it happens, but they are technically alive, and there is a path there, because they have a lot of talent on that roster. It's just that they have what appears to be a generationally bad quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, so yeah, probably not doing anything this year, but you're technically still alive if, the offense gets hot enough to win you some games while your defense continues to play well. But yeah, I don't like it in Minnesota. Atlanta is technically still alive because they're only 2 games back in the NFC South. So if Tampa continues to lose games, which they shouldn't because they have an easy schedule the rest of the way, but if Baker is going to be struggling with his injury, and if he even misses time, this is a very wounded Tampa team, so Atlanta technically has life in that division. I don't see it, but don't dismiss them completely yet. There's a path. They're only 2 games out, and they also play Tampa once more. It's possible. Not predicting it, just saying it's possible. Miami's also still technically alive. If they win out and they do have a soft schedule, they could get to 10-7 and possibly be a factor in the wild card race. I don't think it'll happen. I think they could still win out and miss the playoffs, but yeah, they're technically alive. It'd be pretty funny if they kept winning games, but yeah, just technically alive. Carolina, I'm just gonna go with I don't know what to do with you. I mean, you're 6-6, you're perfectly mediocre. Sometimes you look good, sometimes you look terrible. When we lose a game, it's usually because of the offense, sometimes it's been on the defense. When we win a game, it's always for different reasons. Sometimes Bryce breaks the franchise record for passing yards in a game. Sometimes the defense carries, sometimes we need a comeback, sometimes we win ugly. The 49ers game, Monday Night Football, that was just ugly. The offense could not play well. Dave Canales' play calling is so hot and cold. Like, Monday night against San Francisco, he was not calling a good game. I don't know why Rico Dowdle only had 6 carries when that run defense in San Francisco has not been playing super well, and we were obviously able to run when we tried. Chuba and Rico were both efficient on the ground, so only 9 designed runs. I do not know what Canales was doing there, given that it was always a close game. At one point, we're down 14, and we had to throw at that point. But before that, for 2.5 quarters, it was close. I don't understand the play calling. Bryce Young, he's had 2 games with over 200 yards this season. So you can blame the play calling, but also it's year 3 for Bryce Young. We got to see more. All right, we got to see more to expect him to be the guy, and just I don't get it. We are so weird. We could somehow find a way to beat the Rams this week, and it wouldn't even surprise me at this point. I don't really see how we would do it, but it's been a weird year. I don't know what to do with Carolina. My guess is we go like 8-9, 9-8. I think we'll beat New Orleans. I think we can get 1 win against Tampa. We are technically still alive because we could sweep the Bucs and win that division. We need some help to get the job done because Tampa's got an easy schedule that even if we sweep them, they probably still get to 10 wins. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with Carolina. I think we're probably just a year away from actually competing in the NFC, if I had to guess. Like, next year, if we figure out the offense, if we can get more consistency there and the play calling, then maybe next year is a good year to be a Panthers fan, despite what should be a really tough schedule. So, I don't know. I don't know. We take it week to week as Panthers fans. I'm just glad that we have a decent record this year, because it's been a long time since we even had this many wins, so we'll take it. The Steelers are going to come in right above us. I don't know. They're just mediocre as well. I've been pretty accurate with them. I feel like I've been pretty accurate with them all season. Just, it's kind of going exactly as we'd expect based on past Steelers seasons. I still don't think they make the playoffs. I still think they don't win the division. Even when Baltimore was 1-5, I was very confident in saying Baltimore is going to come back and win that division. I know a lot of people were, but I'm just... Yeah, the Steelers are probably just mediocre. I don't think they're a playoff caliber team, but also their defense has been playing better. If Aaron Rodgers comes back and starts playing better for that offense, then I don't know, maybe they can win enough games to get in, and Baltimore's offense is still kind of asleep. So the season's not over. Pittsburgh still has life. I just don't see them making the playoffs, and I don't view them as a playoff caliber team. Dallas is moving up, and I will say, because anyone who knows me knows I love valuing head-to-head results, and Carolina beat Dallas earlier in the season. I am moving Dallas up because they are a different team now than when we played them. They got CeeDee Lamb back, and that helps their offense. And they traded for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, and they got some other players back on defense, like Overshown, I think. And rookie corner Siobhan Revel, I'm pretty sure, is back. So the defense in Dallas is the main reason I'm moving them up. And they've been playing a lot better the past few weeks. Granted, it was against the Raiders, who are terrible, and it was against the Eagles, who... well, they're kind of dry in offense, but very impressive performance by the run defense against the Eagles, and the secondary still concerns me, and that was my main concern even after they pulled the trade for Quinnen Williams. I don't love that secondary. They get burnt pretty consistently, but if Dallas's defense is going to be average and you pair that with an elite offense, Dallas is still alive. They are very much alive. I'm not going to call them a playoff caliber team yet, but they have a path there. Their next 2 games are going to be pretty telling. I'm pretty sure the next 2 are against the Chiefs and the Lions. If they can pull one of those upsets, they have the schedule the rest of the way where they actually could find themselves into the playoffs. Like, there's a path there. It's crazy, and I'm not predicting it yet, but let's see how they look the next 2 games and reevaluate. So right now, I don't know what to do with them. I guess they're mediocre. I need to see more from their defense, but Dallas somehow has a lot of life this late into the season. Just good for them. Like, things have worked out. George Pickens is probably going to bankrupt them in the offseason, but that's a good problem to have, I suppose. The Chargers are going to come in right above them. Chargers are pretty hot and cold. I don't know what they're going to do week to week. They're coming off a bye. 2 weeks ago, they lost to the Jags 35-6. So, yeah, bad taste in their mouths for sure. They get the Raiders coming off their bye week, or the Chargers coming off a bye playing the Raiders. They're probably going to win that, get to 8-4. I still think they're going to end up missing the playoffs because they got a tough schedule after that game against the Raiders, and they face some good defensive lines, and I have a hard time seeing them win more than 10 games, and even 10-7 probably isn't going to get them in the AFC. So it's tough for the Chargers because I think they have a lot of talent overall, and they should be getting their rookie running back Hampton back this week or next week, pretty soon at least. So like, the offense has a lot of talent. The defense has a lot of talent. But their offensive line is the worst in the league right now due to injuries. So I have a hard time seeing this playing out well for the Chargers. But yeah, I don't really know what to do with them, but it is what it is. The 49ers, I'm going to put them in the same tier. I want to put them in the playoff teams tier, but just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I watched them play us on Monday night, and it was kind of ugly. I mean, aside from Brock Purdy checking it down to Christian McCaffrey and letting him do all the work, and then a couple of throws to Juwan Jennings and George Kittle that were like 10 yards out, it was a tough day. Like, watching Brock Purdy try to throw more than 15 yards down the field, he threw 3 picks, 3 interceptions in that game. Just ridiculous. Yeah, I'm very hesitant with San Francisco. I admire that they're battling through the adversity and the injuries. I think it's pretty cool. Great story. But the defense is still, I don't know. They look really good against us, but I think that said more about our offense and our play calling than them. Their defense still has a lot of holes because of all the injuries. And the offense, just sometimes they're going to look good, sometimes they're going to look like they did against us on Monday Night Football. So I still have a hunch they're going to end up missing the playoffs, but they also have a clear path to going to 10-4 in a couple of weeks. And you look at that Week 17 matchup against the Bears, that probably is going to be for a playoff spot. So we'll see. I'm going to put Chicago in playoff teams. They're 8-3, which is insane. They are having a great year. The problem is their best win is now over the Steelers. So, yeah, like, they don't have any truly good wins. They beat the Steelers. They did beat the Cowboys earlier in the year, although the Cowboys are much improved now, but that win still happened. They got a win over the Vikings. Just those are their 3 best wins. And I'm not trying to hate on Chicago or anything. I think all Bears fans probably would agree with the statement that they haven't really beaten that good of a team yet. I think most Bears fans are probably happy that they're even in the playoff discussion at 8-3 in year 1 under Ben Johnson, year 2 with Caleb Williams. Like, this is great. This is what you hoped for if you're a Bears fan. You're leading that division. I still don't think that's going to hold up, but I do think there's a chance it comes down to the Week 18 matchup against the Lions, so it's probably going to be in play for a while. So good for you, Chicago. Good for Bears fans. I do hope you guys make the playoffs. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I don't know if they'll do anything. And I think the Friday game against Philadelphia is going to be very telling for how good this team can be in the NFC. For now, I'm just going to keep them here, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Tampa, I'm going to put right above them. Yeah, I'm feeling worse about Tampa with every passing week. I think they're still going to win the NFC South. I mean, they still get to play the Falcons, the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins, and their 2 toughest games are both going to be against Carolina. So, pretty good chance they get to 10 wins and win the NFC South. Unfortunate if you're a Panthers fan, but yeah, probably going to be Tampa's division once more. I don't know if they're going to do anything in the playoffs. I know they're very injured right now, but it's been rough. That game against the LA Rams was excruciating to watch, and unless you were hate watching them like I was. I enjoyed it, but for most people watching that was just painful, and it's hard to see Tampa rebounding enough to really make noise in the postseason. If they get fully healthy, it might be another story, but might be a big if. We'll see. I'm going to put the Ravens right above the Buccaneers, and I'm high in the Ravens. They were, in the preseason, they were my Super Bowl champion, I'm pretty sure, and I've been mocking them in my projections to go to the Super Bowl, which I realized was bold, but now at least they're in the playoff picture officially. I still think this is a very good team. I think the defense has been playing very well, and not enough people have talked about that. The offense, though, has just been sleepwalking for the past month, and that's very concerning. It's almost like Lamar Jackson is still playing like he's injured, which he probably is. It kind of looks that way. So I don't know what's going to happen. I still think they're going to get it together at some point. Eventually, things are going to click, and this is going to be a full team, and I think they're going to be scary in January, but I am a little concerned as time goes on and they continue to struggle on offense. I mean, I was expecting a blowout against the Jets, and, they won convincingly enough in the end, but that was a slow game, and the offense was not impressive. Lamar Jackson's going to have to be better if they're going to do anything in January, so we'll see. I got the Chiefs above them. I didn't move the Chiefs up a ton after they beat the Colts, and they're 6-5, and they've lost to teams that I'm going to put above them, mainly the Jags and the Bills, so it's appropriate to have those teams above them, in my opinion, when they have better records and the head-to-head win. Great win for the Chiefs. They kept their season alive at home against the Colts, and needed to come back to do it. This still doesn't feel like the same Chiefs team of old. I still think it's a very good team, just not as good as we're used to. They're good, not great. I don't think you want to face them in the playoffs because they are known for their success in the postseason. It's been, 7 straight years of seeing them in the AFC Championship game, so don't think it's so crazy to expect them to get back there. They're still a good team, still scary, still a lot of talent. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but for now they're 6-5. I'll continue to slowly move them up the rankings as they gain more wins. Or not, we'll see. I've got the Jags right above them. Look, the Jags beat the Chiefs head-to-head, so they belong above them. Yeah, I know the Jags are probably a pretender. I know they aren't going to do a single thing if they make the playoffs. Also, they're one game back in the AFC South because they continue to beat the teams that are worse than them, even if it's close. Like the Arizona game, almost lost that one. Possibly should have lost that one if Jacoby Brissett threw a better ball at the end of that game for a touchdown instead of it being just getting them into field goal range. And they played close with the dreadful Raiders. That went to overtime, I'm pretty sure, a few weeks ago. But they're beating the teams worse than them while also getting some good wins. They blew out the Chargers just 2 weeks ago, or I guess that's like a week and a half ago at this point, so fairly recent. They beat the Chiefs. Like they're getting good wins. They also beat the 49ers earlier in the year. So, look, I don't trust them. I think they're a pretender. I don't think they're truly going to contend, but the results are undeniable. In a crazy season, they are beating good teams while not losing to the bad teams. So, for now, you have to kind of view them as a playoff team, and you have to put them above the teams they've beaten. So, that's why they land here. Good for the Jags, I guess. I still don't think it's going to be sustainable. I think you're going to collapse at some point, but for right now, it's deserved. I'm going to put Buffalo right above them because, I picked Buffalo to beat them head-to-head. They got the same record. Buffalo's coming off a tough loss to Houston, and yeah, Josh Allen has just always struggled against the Texans. I guess it shouldn't be so surprising that he did once again. And yeah, Buffalo, you're going to be a wild card team in January, most likely, unless the Patriots have the most epic collapse of all time. So, pretty tough. You don't really want to be a road team in the playoffs if you're Buffalo. You do better at home. But this is also a team that you trust in January unless they play the Chiefs. So, they might have a good chance to get the 5 seed, maybe the 6 seed. We'll see how things go. They might have a good chance to go on a run in the playoffs. Just depends on the matchups they get. I'm not fading Buffalo completely yet, but they have enough issues to where it's hard to see them winning it all. So, yeah, it was fun while it lasted leading your division, wasn't it, Buffalo? Yeah. Houston, moving on up, I'm putting them above Buffalo. And I think that's fair. They just beat them head-to-head with a backup quarterback. I know Houston has a worse record. I know they're 6-5, but they are beating good teams with the best defense in the league. Their offensive line has been playing a lot better, and the offense, as a result, has also been playing a little bit better. We still need to see more for them to actually do anything and, make the playoffs. There's a good chance they still miss the playoffs. They get the Colts twice, and they play the Chiefs soon. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think there's a good chance a team with this defense is going to find their way into the playoffs, and if you face them in the playoffs with that defense, yeah, I wouldn't enjoy that. It's not going to be fun to watch, and it might not go your way. So, Houston is in my top 10 this week. Daniel, you'll be very happy if you're listening. We'll see what happens with Houston. I hope they make the playoffs. We'll see, though. The Lions are going to come in just above them. Yeah, I'm concerned about the Lions. I'll go ahead and put the Packers here too, by the way, because these teams are kind of similar in that they've been rather inconsistent, and it's hard to trust them to do anything in the playoffs. And it's taking a lot for me to just trust that the Lions are going to get it together. You guys know I believed in them despite the inconsistencies. I think this is a very good roster overall, and I think they're going to get it together. The Packers, I think they're also a good roster overall, but their offense is too dry at times. For the Lions, it's the defense that has been concerning. And they've had really good performances, and then they had the game against the Giants. And I don't want to overreact to it, because, in a game where Jameis Winston is playing, literally anything could happen. So, we got the full Jameis Winston experience against the Lions on Sunday. So, I'm not going to be too concerned about it, but also, it's kind of a recurring thing with both of these teams. There's just inconsistencies. I still think that one of these teams is going to win their division, and the game on Thursday is probably going to tell us who, in all likelihoods, will win that division. We'll see what it comes down to, but, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to trust either of these teams fully right now. If I'm projecting, I think that the Lions are going to get it together, but as of right now, it's just, what do you do, man? What do you do? Philadelphia's coming in here. Yeah, tough loss to Dallas. How do you go up 21-0 and then do literally nothing in the second half? And, you got shut out by Dallas in the second half and blew a 21-0 lead. Do you know how impressive that is? I cannot believe that happened. Shout out to Dallas. That's an amazing win. But Philadelphia, what are you doing? You cannot run the ball. Saquon has been abysmal this season, considering how great he was last year. As it turns out, they ran him into the ground last season, and this year they just can't run. And they got some injuries on the O-line. They're not playing as well. Yeah, this doesn't scare... Philadelphia is not as scary as maybe they were a week ago. And we always knew their offense had concerns, but their defense was so good the past few games, but they just kind of collapsed against Dallas down the stretch. And I guess it's easy to do that when your offense does literally nothing. The defense is going to be on the field a lot and get tired. I'm guessing that's what ended up happening, but just a brutal loss to Philadelphia. Yeah, it's another team that I just don't fully trust at the moment. If I'm projecting, I still think this is a team that can win the NFC and could easily get to the NFC Championship game, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot more shaky about them right now after they lost to Dallas. So, I don't know what's going to happen. We will see. Denver comes in above them. Denver now has the better record, and they did beat Philadelphia head-to-head, so I think it's fair to reward them and put them above Philadelphia this week. I don't have much to say about Denver. I still don't really trust them. They're kind of similar to Philadelphia, and they've got a good defense that can win them games, but I do not trust the offense whatsoever. So, we'll see where that goes. I still don't trust them come January. Indianapolis, yeah, that's a tough loss to the Chiefs. I mean, it's great that you were up double digits in the fourth quarter at Arrowhead. That is impressive. But you blew it. You blew it. Jonathan Taylor wasn't able to carry the offense all on his own this game. The Chiefs did a good job stopping him. And Daniel Jones just did not have his best day. It was kind of rough. So, yeah, the Indy offense has not been as good the past few games. And yeah, it's getting harder to trust them. I'm getting more concerned with every passing week that they're just going to collapse and they won't even win the AFC South. They still have games against Seattle, San Francisco. They play Houston twice. They got the Jags twice. They got a tough schedule the rest of the way. I think it's the third most difficult in the NFL. So it is very possible they collapse. They lose to the Jags in 2 weeks. I'm not sure they even have the lead in the division anymore. So we'll keep an eye on the Colts. For now, I'm going to still say they're one of the best teams. One of the best in the AFC, and I don't know, we're going to take it week to week with them, but I am a little bit concerned at the moment. The Patriots cracked my top 3 this week. Yeah, very good team. I'm pretty concerned with how close they play with Cincinnati, but maybe that just said more about Cincinnati than New England. I'm not sure. Still won the game. That's all that really matters. They came back and won that game. With Buffalo's loss this past week as well, they should very easily be able to win the AFC East. They can lose to Buffalo and Baltimore, their toughest 2 remaining games, easily, and they still win the division. So, I'm guessing that's going to happen. It feels like a lock at this point. It's not yet, but they should definitely win that division and be hosting playoff games. So, good for them. And Seattle, I'm going to put in playoff teams as well. That's number 2 in my rankings. I didn't punish them for the loss to the Rams 2 weeks ago. Darnold threw 4 interceptions in that game, and they still only lost by 2. I thought that was pretty impressive. So, good for them. And then this past week, they were just blown out the Titans. It was a one-score game at the end because of garbage time. I don't really care. Seattle is still one of the best teams in the league. I would not want to face them in the postseason. So, yeah. And now these Super Bowl favorites. I've been just having a bunch of teams as Super Bowl contenders. But at this point, I feel like anyone who makes the playoffs in this upside-down league is going to be a Super Bowl contender. If you get in, unless, you're the Jags, in my opinion, if you get in, I think you have a chance to go on a run. That's how crazy this league is. But I do think there is one team that right now is clearly the best in the league, and that is the LA Rams. So, yeah, I can't bring them up. Here we go. The LA Rams, best in the league right now. They've been playing really good football. They don't really have any bad results on that schedule. You can go check it out. They have a loss to Philadelphia early in the season where they were leading, and they just blew it. And they have a loss to the 49ers, a healthier 49ers team at that point in time, in overtime. So, the good losses, and they got a lot of good wins now, too. This is a scary team. I don't know what their weakness is. They got a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, like Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. You got Kyron Williams at running back. You got Stafford with 30 touchdowns and 2 picks on the year, which is absurd. Just insane ratio so far. He's my MVP right now. He's been my MVP for a while, but I'm just going to reiterate that. He's still my MVP. So the Rams are the clear Super Bowl favorites right now, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm going to project it to stay that way, and I'm not necessarily saying they will win the Super Bowl, but they are the clear favorites as of this moment. So these are my rankings. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I got wrong. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate any help we can get. And before we end this, though, I do want to show you my playoff projections and predictions. So we're going to switch over here, and we do have some changes. You know, I do this every week, and we got a new 1 seed in the AFC. We got the Broncos at the 1 seed. I'm not really sure how exactly that happened, because I don't think I changed any results for the Broncos or the Patriots, but somehow the Broncos end up with the 1 seed this week, I think for the first time. Patriots got the 2 seed. The Colts got the 3 seed. The loss to the Chiefs, pretty unfortunate for them, and it's not really a surprise, because I predicted that result, but yeah, a little bit of change here. The Texans also enter as a 7 seed. I think the Jags have a higher chance of getting in, but I'm kind of coming around to the idea of the Jags somehow messing it up and losing a game they shouldn't and missing the playoffs, while the Texans win enough games with their elite defense and getting in. Like, a team with that defense should not miss the playoffs. So I'm going to say the Texans get the 7 seed. And then in the NFC, I don't think I really had much change, except this time I've got the Rams winning that division. I've been saying Seattle wins the division, but watching the Rams play the past few weeks, it's just, I don't know, I got a feeling about it. At this point, somehow the Rams end up winning that division. I still think they split the series with Seattle. Somehow they're going to win that division, and with my game-by-game predictions, they actually end up with the 1 seed in the NFC, so good for them. Seattle, unfortunately, falls to the 5 seed, and everything else, I think, is pretty much the same. The Rams got the 1 seed, Philadelphia got the 2 seed, the Lions got the 3 seed, so as for the predictions, I still have the Chiefs upsetting the 3 seed in the first round. This time it's the Colts, and then I have them upsetting the Broncos, and then they get the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. So that stays the same. The teams are a little bit different, the matchups are a little bit different, but I still have a Chiefs-Ravens AFC Championship game where I have the Ravens prevailing. So, yeah, we'll revisit that idea in a moment. In the NFC, it's the Rams playing the Seahawks for a 3rd time, and because the Seahawks beat the Bucks, the Rams beat the Seahawks, and they're in the NFC Championship game. Philadelphia beats the Bears, the Lions beat the Packers, and the Lions beat the Eagles. Remember, I've said for a while that whoever loses that matchup in the regular season, if they play again in the playoffs, I'm picking the loser of the first time matchup. So that would be the Lions. I think they get revenge. And then I have the Lions losing to the Rams in the regular season as of now. I'm going to say the Lions get revenge. So I put a lot of thought into it, but I'm sticking with my previous take. It's going to be Ravens-Lions in the Super Bowl, and the Lions win it. And I realize a lot of you might be laughing at that right now. It might seem crazy that I've got this matchup as my current projection. I'm standing by it, though. It's what I've got right now. It's going to change week to week. It hasn't changed for a couple weeks, but it changes week to week as we learn new things in the NFL. But one thing that stays constant is this league is crazy. Everything is crazy. It's upside down. I don't really trust anyone at the moment except maybe the Rams, and come playoff time, I do think the Lions are going to get it together. I think the Chiefs are going to get it together. I think that's not a team you want to face in January. I think the Ravens offense is going to figure it out at some point, and that's going to be a deadly team in the playoffs. So that's why I've got the Ravens going on a run. I think they get it together. I got the Lions going on a run. I think they get it together, and I still have the Lions winning the Super Bowl. So there you go. Let me know how laughable this is. I know it's been amusing some of you as you look at my projections and go, how could this happen? Well, look at what's been happening all season. Would it honestly be a surprise if we had a 4 seed playing the 3 seed in the Super Bowl? Because I would not be surprised at all. I wouldn't really be surprised at any Super Bowl matchup at this point. Like, if you get in, I think you got a chance because this is a very strange season. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think. Drop your own predictions if you'd like. I'd love to hear them. And that'll do it for this video. So Actually, one more reminder on the whole predictions versus projections things and my rankings. Like, my current rankings do not show you what I think will happen. My rankings are based on what has happened and what's currently going on in the league, but my projections are what I think will end up happening, if that makes sense. So, I've got the Chiefs outside my top 10 right now. I've got the Lions at 8 in my rankings. I've got the Ravens outside my top 10, right below the Chiefs. But in my projections, because I think these teams are all going to improve. In my projections, I think they all improve. I think they all get it together. I've got them going on runs in the playoffs. So that's the key difference. The projections are based on the future. My rankings this week are based on what's happened so far and what's going on right now. So hopefully that makes sense. And now that will do it for the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As a reminder, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subs by the end of the year. We appreciate any help we can get. So there you go. I'll wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.